So we are discussing about the starting of induction motor. As you know, induction motors are of two kinds, so we have to adopt different methods of starting for the different kinds. For example, for the wound rotor induction motor, generally in the rotor circuit, external resistances are connected in all the three phases. For example, this is the stator, this is the stator, and in the rotor you connect external resistances in all the phases, and they can be varied simultaneously together. So at the beginning this resistance is kept at its maximum value and you switch on the supply. So not only the starting current will be reduced, but also by proper choice of this external resistance connected, you can improve the starting torque of the induction motor. But in case of cage induction motor, the problem is slightly difficult because of the fact in the rotor circuit you cannot incorporate any external resistance even if you wish. In fact, for any induction motor with rotor short circuited and full voltage applied, the problem is that it draws a large current, about 8 to 12 times the full load current of the induction motor. However, as the machine picks up speed, as we have discussed last time, the current decreases. Now, whether we have to employ a starter for a cage induction motor or not will primarily be guided by the size of the motor you want to start. Because this large current drawn from the supply causes a voltage dip in the bus bar. The problem of starting with full voltage, problem for full voltage starting is that it causes voltage dip in the supply lines affecting other consumers connected to that, affecting other consumers. Apart from the fact the machine draws large current, 8 to 12 times the rated current of its own, that is also problem of the motor. But for machines of lower rating, few HPs or so, the rate at which speed will be picked up by the machine is quite large. Quickly it will pick up speed. Therefore, sometimes this full voltage starting is also adopted, for lower size machine. So depending upon now different kinds of starting methods adopted for cage motors, starting of cage motors, I will first write down the different techniques. Starting method for cage motors. One is the full voltage starting. And obviously this is adopted for lower size machine. And another method is basically it is reduced voltage starting. Under this head, reduced voltage starting, you can have several options. One is reactor starting. Another is auto transformer starting. And you can have what is known as start delta starting. So as if the size of the machine is large, for them we are considering how to start cage induction motors. So there are several options available: reactor, auto transformer, and start delta starting. I will discuss each one of them. So first let us consider the full voltage starting. Now for this, what we will assume is that stator impedance we will neglect. Core loss current, no load current we will neglect, because starting current is quite large compared to that. That will be the deciding factor. So stator impedance in the analysis, to find out stator impedance and core losses and no load currents are neglected to estimate starting current. Now let us consider the full voltage starting first. Full voltage starting. Also, this is not an assumption, but it will be helpful while studying the start delta starter. What we will assume is this: the stator of the three-phase induction motor, stator of the machine motor is delta connected for normal operation. Is delta connected for normal operation. That is, the stator of that induction motor, cage induction motor, is delta connected for normal operation. That we will assume in order to compare various methods of starting. This will be clear as I proceed. For example, that means my induction motor looks like this way. Your stator is a delta connected balanced three-phase distributed winding. That is like this. And it is to be given supply from this one. And your rotor is cage induction motor. This is the stator. Now, full voltage starting basically means you have to apply full voltage, rated voltage, when the machine is stationary. And you have seen that it is allowable by the supply company also. They tell us, okay, you go ahead, because your machine size is small, you can apply dual starting for such machines. So suppose the rated voltage of the machine is V, line to line voltage. Okay. And obviously we are considering starting conditions, so S is 1. At that time what is happening we want to know about the current drawn, about the amount of torque produced by the machine, like that. So S remains 1 during starting condition. Now suppose the impedance offered per phase by the stator to the supply voltage. In general, what is the impedance? Impedance will be R2 dashed by S plus JX2 dashed, is not, offered to the supply, and S equal to 1, so this is R2 dashed plus JX2 dashed. This is the impedance, standstill impedance. Let this is standstill impedance, Z2S be the standstill impedance per phase, standstill impedance per phase, and its magnitude is under root R2 dash squared plus X2 dash squared. That is, impedance of this winding is Z2S, magnitude of the impedance. The calculations are very elementary to calculate the currents. For example, at the time when you switch on the full voltage, What will be the current here? Each winding will draw. It will be V by Z2S. What will be the current drawn from the supply? It will be root 3 times V by, like that we will calculate. So we do it like this, that I starting, and we write DOL. And this current I am calling I starting DOL, because it is the current drawn from the supply which is of importance, because other consumers will be affected by the degree of this current, not by phase current. So this current will be, as you can see, it will be V by Z2S, magnitude of this current, V by Z2S, into root 3 over. So this will be the current drawn from the mains supply, where you should remember this supply is being utilized by other consumers as well, where the terminal voltage may suffer a momentary dip. So this is the I starting dual of the machine. Now I would like to also calculate what is the magnitude of the starting torque developed by the machine, starting torque. So starting torque developed by the machine will be, as you know, it will be during standstill condition the rotor copper loss. So 3 I2 dash squared into R2 dashed by 1 is not S equal to 1. So what is, which current I should take, this or this? Per phase current I should take this one. So this will be root 3, I mean not root 3, V by Z2S. Capital S is the standstill current, this square, into R2 dashed, divided by 2 pi ns. In synchronous watt, this is the starting torque. Clear? So this will be the magnitude of the starting current, and this will be the magnitude of the starting torque if full voltage starting is carried out on a squirrel cage induction motor. Now with respect to this one, we will compare the other starting method. So this current may be quite large, and starting torque, how it is, torque will be quite high because full current. Now let's see the other methods, that is reduced voltage starting we are discussing, a full voltage starting we have done. Now under this reduced voltage we will discuss about reactor starting method. So this is full voltage starting, this is what is going to happen. Okay. Now for example, consider the reactor starting method, reactor starting. Once again, as I told you, calculations are very elementary, but you just try to understand what is done. Here what is done, the supply is there. You connect in series with each supply lines reactors, inductors, in series with stator supply lines. So your machine is delta connected, I have assumed stator. This is your machine. So the machine is now given supply through some reactors connected in series, and these reactors should be ganged together so that they can be varied equally, and initially the value of the reactor will be at their maximum. So you can easily see that basically you are connecting some impedance in series with the lines so that the current will be reduced. That's all. Now how does this method of starting compares with your dual starting? Let us see. So here once again the supply voltage is V, which will be applied to the machine when all the reactors are cut out. So at starting, reactors are at their maximum value. Suppose the value of the reactance when it is maximum is such that during starting, that is S equal to 1, the voltage coming here is a fraction of your input line to line voltage. Okay. Basically, these reactors can be clubbed with your source impedance. So, when you switch on, a portion of this voltage will appear here. Some drop will take place in the reactors. So, X will be a factor between 0 to 1. Therefore, this voltage let us call XV. So, what will be the, and this is your rotor. Rotor I will draw inside now because of space problem. It does not matter. Rotor is there. Standstill condition. So, this current once again will be XV by Z2S. Applied voltage by phase impedance. That remains Z2S. And this current in these lines will be root 3 times XV by Z2S. These are no phasors, only the magnitude of the current. Magnitude of voltage divided by magnitude of impedance. This will be the current. And this will be the current drawn from the supply. That is what we should try to find out. Current drawn from the supply when you switch on at S equal to 1 will be this much. So, this one I will write it rather elaborately as I starting reactor. Will be equal to root 3 times X V by Z2S. Remember, Z2S is the standstill impedance per phase. And if you compare it with the I starting dual, it was root 3 V by Z2S, same machine. That means this current is reduced, X reduced by a factor of how much? That is, if you take this ratio now, I starting reactor divided by I starting dual, if you do, it will be reduced by a factor of X. That is, I starting reactor is X times I starting dual. So, starting current will be reduced by a factor of X. X is decided by the setting of this reactor. In fact, X equal to 1 means full voltage you are applying. It means that. What about starting torque? Starting torque, T starting reactor will be, if you keep it here, 3I2 square R2 dashed. So, here this current is this one. So, this will be 3 times X square V square by Z square 2S. This will be I2 square into R2 dashed. This will be the starting torque. This one. And how does it compare with the starting torque in the dual case? It will be simply X square into T starting dual. So, the conclusion is that with reactor starting under the reduced voltage starting method, if you adopt reactor starting method, the starting current will be reduced by a factor of X, but your starting torque is reduced by a factor of X square because X is less than 1. Okay. Suppose the setting is X equal to half. The reactor setting is such that half of the voltage is applied at the machine terminals at the time of starting. Then your starting torque will be reduced to 1/4 compared with dual starting of the induction motor. And starting current will be reduced only by half. So this is one method of starting. Then another method of starting, as I told you, that is the auto transformer starting. In this case, what is done? A three-phase auto transformer is taken. Where this applied voltage is V, line to line. And then at suitable tappings, 3 lines are taken out. And here is your actual machine, which I have assumed stated to be delta connected. And this machine is supplied from the output of the auto transformer. And here is your rotor. This will be the situation. Now, in this case also, I can assume, because it is the output of an auto transformer, so input line to line voltage is V. So let us assume the setting is X per unit. So output voltage of the auto transformer will be XV, balanced XV between any 2 lines, because they are ganged together, not individually controlled. Okay. So XV, XV, XV comes to the machine terminals. Now in this case, once again, this current will be obviously XV divided by Z2S, where Z2S is the standstill impedance. And this current here in this line will be root 3 times XV by Z2S. Okay, but what do you want to find out? We want to find out how much current is drawn from the supply. Supply, how much current is drawn? It is this current, because it is your supply points where other consumers are connected. It is the auto transformer you have installed to start the machine. Is not? We should find out how much is the current drawn from the supply, from the mains. So current drawn from the mains is to be calculated here. Can you tell me how much current it will be drawn? Assuming the auto transformer to be ideal. How much current it will be drawn? If this current is root 3 XV by Z2S, what should be this value? So it should be x squared times this one. Okay, N1 by N2, that if you do, the turns ratio is x. So this current will be simply x square root 3 V by Z2S. It is this current. So we can see that current drawn from the supply, this I will write, I starting auto transformer I mean, if you write mains, let us be elaborate. This current I am meaning. This current is this current. This current. This is equal to x square into root 3 V by Z2S. Compared to your dual starting, this is equal to x square I starting dual. In case of dual and reactor starting, the machine line current is same as the supply line currents. But in auto transformer, this must be understood. Therefore, you can see if you connect an auto transformer with same tapping as that of your reactor tappings, you find starting current from the supply drawn is reduced by a factor of x square. So current reduces by a factor of x square. But in case of an reactor, it was only by a factor of x current was reduced. Now similarly, however, torque torque will be same as your auto transformer because torque depends upon this current, phase current. So still we calculate starting torque, auto transformer will be this current, you should remember. If I put it, so 3 times this current, phase winding currents, 3 x square b square by z square 2s into R2 dashed, which is x square into t starting dual. Therefore, if you simply look at these 3 methods of starting, you find that in dual starting, if starting current is something and starting torque is something, then in reactor starting, where reactors are connected in series with the lines, starting current is reduced only by a factor of x, but starting torque is reduced by a factor of x square. And if you adopt an auto transformer, both the starting current and starting torque is reduced by a factor of x square. So it is slightly better than your reactor starting, because starting torque wise you don't get anything, but starting current drawn from the supply you get a lot, x square it becomes 1/4. However, one should not be under this impression that this reactor, in fact this instead of reactor one could connect 3 equal resistances also on the stator lines while starting the machine, and these results will be valid because a V voltage, you imagine these are equal resistances, but that is not generally adopted because there will be unnecessary power loss in the resistances. Okay. Now, in case of course, auto transformer method, although you get starting current to be reduced by a factor of x square, the cost of auto transformer is much higher than simple reactors, is not? So you have to invest some money there while adopting such a method. Now, the most important out of these techniques is the last one, which is called the start delta starting. Start delta starting. In all this method, apart from that DOL, of course, you have to buy some extra equipment like reactor or auto transformer. Now, in start delta technique, you don't have to purchase anything extra. Start delta method of starting. This also comes under the name of reduced voltage starting. But first of all, one should understand what does the start delta method of starting means. It can be only applied to those cage induction motors whose normal operation is delta connected. That is, the machine is designed in such a way that normally when full voltage will be applied, machine will be running, stator is delta connected. That is, the voltage rating of each winding is line to line voltage V. Are you getting? Only for those machines we should talk about start delta starting. Why? It is apparent. So for such machines, start delta method of starting can be applied only to those motors whose stator winding is delta connected during normal operation. Can be applied only to those motors whose stator winding is delta connected for normal operation. The idea is now therefore very simple. if your machine is to be connected in delta fashion for normal operation, then what you do during starting for such machines, during starting the stator windings are connected what? In star, are connected in star. And then therefore you are basically doing a reduced voltage starting, because this winding normally V voltage is the rating. You connect it in star. Are you getting? Therefore, during starting the stator windings are connected in star, and after machine picks up speed, the stator windings are connected in delta. Okay. And first I will write down the result. It can be easily shown. You write down. It can be easily shown. It can be easily shown that such a starter is equivalent to an auto transformer starter, is equivalent to an auto transformer starter with x equal to 1 by root 3. Therefore, with no extra cost, no reactor, auto transformer purchased, you simply connect the windings in start during starting and switch over to delta connection for normal operation. You will get the same effect as if you have connected an auto transformer whose value of x is 1 by root 3. So this can be just 1 minute it will take to show that. So to show that, so during starting, so machine is normally, it is precisely this reason we have considered, we have started with as if the machine is delta connected stator. For that reason only we have started. So during starting, the machine is connected like this, star, and here you are giving full voltage, rated voltage line to line for the machine. This impedance is Z2S, standstill impedance. So current, starting current, I starting, and this is the rotor of the machine, I starting star, line current. This current will be how much? V by root 3, Z2S. Is not? And this will be the I starting star, and T start star connection. It will be 3 current square, so 3 times this current square, that is V square by 3 Z square 2S into R2 dashed. Now, if you consider with DOL starting of this machine, with respect to DOL starting, we are comparing everything. Huh? So, if you remember, the I starting DOL was like this, root 3B by Z2S. So, the current is reduced by a factor of 3 x square, that is. So, this is nothing but, I can write, this is nothing but I starting DOL by 3. This by 3 if you do, root 3 gets this. And T starting DOL similarly is reduced by factor of 3. This 3 cancels out. So what we conclude is this, that I starting star connection, line currents drawn from the supply is 1/3 I starting DOL, as well as T starting star is 1/3 T starting DOL, which is 1 by root 3 whole square. Therefore, it is equivalent to x equal to 1 by root 3 in auto transformer. Therefore, x equal to 1 by root 3 in auto transformer. Equivalent to. Okay. Now, how to realize the start delta starter? One can easily in the laboratory find out, make his own start delta starting and verify. If the, of course, the motor size is not very large, it is expected in the lab the machine ratings are quite small, maybe few HPs only. So one can easily adopt this one. You should do like this: a start delta starter. A start delta starter in its simplest form. In its simplest form. See, obviously for start delta starter, for the use of start delta starter, all these 6 terminals of the windings must be available externally. Okay, A phase, B phase, C phase, all the 6 terminals of the machine must be brought outside, so that you can make it star or delta whenever necessary. So how this is done? This is done in a very simple manner. Suppose this is the A phase winding, A1, A2. This is the B phase winding, B1, B2. So all the 6 terminals are available to you, C1, C2. Okay, and these three lines you give to supply. Here you give to supply. And they are ganged together. So this is 3-phase supply. Now what you do, you take a triple pole double throw switch, whose middle terminals are like here. Triple pole double throw switch. And you bring this way. This A2 you bring here. So this is A2. This one you terminate on the middle of this. This is B2. And this C2 also you bring it here. C2. And this is a double throw switch. So these are the poles of the switch. And here is the one side of this switch, which you keep it shorted initially. Therefore, you can easily see if this switch is put on this side, the windings are connected in star. A2, B2, C2 are shorted by this wire. So this is a TPDT. triple pole double throw switch. So this side will be start side. While starting, you switch on this one. If the triple pole double throw switch is in the neutral position, machine will not start because the rotor circuit is incomplete. Now you put it on the left side. Therefore the A2, B2, C2 are shorted. It is a star connected. Full voltage comes here to the machine terminals. Machine will pick up speed. Now what you will do on the other side? You tell me. To such that if I put it this side, these windings get connected to delta as well as to the supply terminals. This you can easily see, that is, these are the, suppose the windings A1, A2, proper delta you do, B2, C1, C2, like this. So you join A2, B1, B2, C1. This is how you have to do. No. That is, A2 should be connected to B1. So here I must bring a wire from B1 to this side. So you simply bring, so from this you join this side, B1, A2 to B1, B2 to C1. So B2 should be connected to C1. So you take a wire here. It may not look nice, but anyway, you bring it. B2, so this is B1, this is C1, B2 to C1, and C2 to A1. So from A1 you take another wire and connect it like this. So if you throw it this side, it will be delta connected machines. So in the laboratory this can be easily implemented. You do it, and this side should be run side, which is delta, this side start, which is start. So you throw it here, machine will pick up speed, and after some time quickly throw it onto the other side. This one machine will run as delta connected machine. So start delta starter can be used like this. Now today I have got just enough time to explain to you how say for example a dual starter, as I was telling to you, in its simplest form what a dual starter will be. Just a triple pole switch. You switch on the supply to the machine. Full voltage starting. Induction motor stator, supply is there, you just connect a triple pole switch. But as I told you, a starter, apart from giving supply to the machine, it has some protective features incorporated in it. For example, in case of a cage induction motor, these points you listen carefully. Suppose you have got a cage induction motor, which may be delta or star connected. This is it has nothing to do with start delta starter like that. Now what I am trying to tell, in your delta, full voltage starting could have been like this. Is not triple pole switch full voltage. But you will find in the market dual starter are can be purchased. So what is the difference between a simple triple pole switch and a dual starter which is commercially available in the market and widely used? This point must be understood, what I am trying to tell. Achha, a starter will generally have some protective features within it. Okay. For example, overload protection will be there. Overload OL protection will be provided inside the starter. And you can have a control on starting and stopping the machine. Starting and stopping the machine can be done at will. Okay. And particularly in case of three-phase induction motor, single phase protections may also be provided. Single phasing protections. For example, normally, suppose this is the supply lines, RYB. You will find that if a three-phase induction motor is running nicely on the supply, if one of the phase supply is removed, you will see the machine continues to run. That is, this can be simulated by, suppose you connect another single pole switch and you intentionally open it. Suppose machine is running. You create an open circuit in one of the lines. You will find the machine is running, apparently without any problem. So, a three-phase induction motor, suppose it is running, as it is very difficult to say, whether it is running on three-phase supply or single-phase supply. You may be under the impression, even if one of the line goes, machine still continues to run, and with not appreciable change in speed, etc. Except that it will draw down large current. Simply because of this fact, if you imagine the machine shaft torque is output power is constant, this output power was coming through three lines. Now that same power is to be drawn by the machine from two lines, single phase supply. Therefore current drawn, current in all other two phases will increase, and current in one phase will be zero. That could be another indication, is not? From a distance you cannot really see. Of course, if you have got ammeters connected in all the lines and you are sitting in a control room, you can immediately find out. So these things are taken into account. Now, what this starter will look like? So for that, I will simply tell you about the contactor arrangement. A typical starter I will tell, not in detail but just coil contactor arrangement. You see, to understand how this works, you suppose have an electromagnet. This is a coil called M, and you have an, suppose, armature. Against spring it can move. Suppose when this coil is not energized, it will be in the up position by this spring tension. This is armature of this electromagnet. Very simple. Now suppose what I am trying to tell, on this this thing, on this movable part, armature, you suppose paste some copper strips. Copper strips are pasted. Insulated from this armature, of course. They have got their separate identity. Now, suppose you have got two terminals, say 1, 2. This is suppose 3, 4. So, as you can see, when the coil is not energized, 1 and 2, there will be open circuit between 1 and 2. Between these terminals 3 and 4, it will be open circuit. And when the coil is energized, what will happen? This armature will be pulled down, and this copper strip will touch 1 and 2, touch 3 and 4. Is not? That is, the status between the terminals 1 and 2, whether there exists an open circuit or short circuit between these two, is decided by whether this coil M is energized or not. So these are called contactor. Whether they are closed or opened is decided whether this coil is energized or not. Similarly, you can have a copper strip here, and when this coil is energized, suppose another pair of contactor you have like this, suppose let us call it 5, 6. So what is the status of 5, 6? How will describe in language? 5, 6 terminals are shorted when the coil is not energized, and 5 and 6 will become open because it will come down, creating an open circuit between 5 and 6 when the coil is energized. Therefore, this I will just stop here by stating that this is symbolically, we draw it. This is the coil, and it controls several contactors like 1 and 2, and it is symbolically shown here. Wherever you show it, it is like this. They are, of course, looks like capacitor, but they are not capacitor, contactor, either open or closed, depending upon whether this coil is energized or not. And these contactors 1, 2 and 3, 4 are rightly called NO contactor, NO. What should I say about 5 and 6? It is normally closed. So these are NO contactors and this is normally closed contactor. Anyway, today I stop here. Tomorrow I will complete this one. Okay. So such things are